Have you ever felt a tightness in your chest when you see your baby sucking on their fingers or licking their lips? Are you wondering, does this mean they are hungry? Or have you ever felt anxious about not being sure what your baby needs, especially during those midnight feedings? Dear friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sophia, and today we are going to dive into a challenge that new parents often face: the hunger signals of newborns. Can you accurately identify these signals to ensure your baby gets the food they need at the right time? Every baby has their unique way of expressing hunger, but in most cases, hunger signals have common characteristics. If you can detect these signals before your baby starts crying, you will be better able to meet their needs. So, do you know what behaviors babies typically display when they are hungry? Next, we will detail the most common hunger signals in newborns and how you can quickly and accurately respond by observing these behaviors, ensuring that your baby's stomach is always satisfied in a timely manner. So, what are the earliest hunger signals in babies? Many new parents may mistakenly believe that a baby is only hungry when they start crying. However, crying is often the last signal of hunger. Before that, the baby has endured some time of hunger and will only cry to attract your attention when feeling uncomfortable. So, what are the early hunger signals? You can pay attention to the following subtle behaviors: sucking on fingers, licking lips, opening their mouths, or even moving their heads around in search of food. These are always the baby is telling you, "I'm starting to get hungry." Moreover, when babies show these signals, they are usually calm, making these early signals the easiest to miss. For instance, when a baby licks their lips, it's not just them playing with their lips. They are actively searching for the nipple or pacifier and getting ready to feed. This is an instinctual reflex that helps them find their food source. So when you see your baby frequently licking their lips or slightly opening their mouths, it's time to get ready for feeding. Have you noticed that babies often display these actions shortly after waking up? That's because they usually feel hungry right after waking up, so you will see them quickly show early signs of hunger. Responding to these signals in a timely manner can prevent the baby from becoming more agitated. If the early signals go unnoticed, the baby will then begin to exhibit mid-stage hunger signals. These signals are usually more obvious and frequent. You will see the baby raise their hands to their mouths and suck on them, or they might try to get closer to you in search of food. Their mood may start to become anxious, and they might even let out soft cries. These are always their body is telling you, "I really need to eat." You may find that the baby is becoming increasingly agitated, rapidly sucking on their fingers or fists. Compared to the early signals, the actions become more frequent and the emotions intensify. This is because they have already felt the urgency of hunger. Have you ever experienced seeing your baby looking anxious and felt a sense of urgency to feed them immediately? It is precisely these mid-stage signals that remind you to take action quickly to avoid the baby moving to the next stage, crying as a means of expression. If these signals are ignored, the baby will likely begin to cry loudly. This is their strongest signal of hunger and is one of the sounds that parents dread the most. When you hear your baby crying, you may feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Crying not only indicates extreme emotional distress for the baby, but also makes you feel very tense. At this point, the feeding process often becomes more difficult because the baby is already very agitated, making it hard for them to calm down. Have you ever encountered a situation where, when you finally start feeding, your baby just can't stop crying and even refuses to eat? This is usually because they have been hungry for too long, causing their emotions to become unstable. Recognizing these hunger signals early can help avoid crying, making the feeding experience more pleasant for both you and your baby. Long periods of crying can also cause babies to swallow more air, which may lead to bloating or discomfort and can further affect their appetite and sleep. Therefore, the sooner you capture those hunger signals, the smoother the feeding process will be for both of you. One way to avoid your baby crying is to identify hunger signals early and respond quickly before they enter an emotional state. Additionally, prolonged crying can cause babies to swallow more air, potentially leading to bloating or discomfort, which in turn affects their appetite and sleep. Therefore, the sooner you capture those hunger signals, the smoother and more pleasant the feeding process will be for both you and your baby. In addition to these physical actions and cries, some other subtle changes in newborns can indicate whether they are hungry. Have you noticed that when babies are hungry, their breathing rhythm becomes more rapid and they might even show slight whimpering? These physiological responses are also one of the signals of hunger. At the same time, the baby's gaze can also change. When they are hungry, they usually become more focused, especially when they see a bottle or breast. You may notice that their eyes follow the food closely, showing a stronger interest in the breast or bottle. If you find your baby paying excessive attention to food, it's a clear indication that they might be feeling hungry. So, how can we ensure that we meet our baby's needs in a timely manner? Establishing a regular feeding schedule can help you anticipate when your baby will be hungry and prepare in advance. However, every baby has a different hunger cycle. Some babies may feel hungry every 2 to 3 hours, while others may go longer. Therefore, while a schedule can be a good reference, it's more important to learn how to gauge their needs based on their behavior. Remember, your baby's body language is always the best indicator. When you notice your baby beginning to display early signals, consider starting the feeding before they cry. This not only helps the baby feel safer and more comfortable, but also avoids the anxiety that comes from crying. Have you realized that timely responses can make feeding a much more enjoyable experience? Finally, if you still worry about not being able to accurately identify your baby's hunger signals, congratulations! The observation tips I shared today will help you feel more confident in meeting your baby's dietary needs. Whether it's the early signs of lip licking and finger sucking, mid-stage body movements, or the final cries, each signal tells you that your baby needs you. Next time you see your baby reaching for their mouth or smelling their soft breath, remember, this is not just a cute gesture, it's their call for hunger. All right, that's it for today's sharing. If you found today's content helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and share it with more new parents. See you next time.